Ready to see your plants thrive like never before? Let's dive into Real Growers Recharge. Imagine your plants growing faster, stronger and healthier. Real Growers Recharge is like a magical elixir for your garden. Packed with beneficial microbes, it boosts nutrient absorption and enhances root development. Just mix it with water and watch the magic happen. It's that simple. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting started, Recharge makes it easy to achieve lush, vibrant plants. Plus, it's eco-friendly and safe for all types of plants. From veggies and flowers to houseplants, Recharge covers it all. So why wait? Give your garden the boost it deserves with Real Growers. Recharge and enjoy the lush, thriving garden of your dreams. Your plants will thank you.
Go to the link in the description to save big and score free shipping on all Real Growers products, or use coupon code Cortez at checkout. Every time you save, you're also helping the channel bring you content like this.
What's going on, everybody? Cortez the Conqueror. And
Welcome.
Anna Alicia. How you doing today, Alicia?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I don't know, just doing a little bit of cleaning around the house. Just got some laundry wrangled up. I think it's gonna be a couple hours at the laundromat. Get done with this.
Yeah. Oh, the laundry rodeo.
I just got a bunch of mail packaged up too, so I got, if people are still waiting for stuff from me, it's going out tomorrow.
And that's from the Halloween giveaway.
Some stuff, but it's just the people who haven't gotten it from me. Like, I don't know, I just kind of send mail out in like batches, I guess. So
Yeah.
if you haven't received something from me that I'm supposed to send out, it's going out tomorrow.
Keep your eye on the mailbox.
That was pretty fun though for Halloween. And then we are doing another Real Growers giveaway. Big shout out to the channel sponsor.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a Thanksgiving giveaway for the Real Growers bundle. It's the 24 ounce of the Grow Dots and the 8 ounce of the Recharge. Everything you guys need for a full cycle of plant nutrition to get 9 plants, seed or clone to harvest. So that's pretty big.
Yeah. And thank you guys so much for sponsoring and giving us the opportunity to give it away and let people know about it.
Oh yeah. It's so cool that they let us get it out there in the community's hands so everybody can kind of like try it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I love it. So I won't be disappointed.
Oh, most definitely. And then, big shout out, by the way, to Canacan. I believe it's next week that he's coming on the show.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
that's so awesome. And then I actually just received Canacan recently. So I want to give a really big shout out to Don for letting me try this system.
You got one.
I still got to do an unboxing video, but I'm doing auto flowers after my tent is done right now with like the fast buds. the photo, they wanted me, they're not testers because like I know what strains they are, but they wanted me to grow out like their line of the photo feminize. So I have
Okay.
those 5 strains going right now, but I'm gonna put autos behind it. So I will get those going like a little bit early, start my germination. I'm gonna try out the Can to do that. And it's going to be an all-night owl run. So big shout out to Daz too. Gonna
Awesome.
see some of the stuff out of his new drop. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never grown them, but I've seen what they produce and it's beautiful. So that's exciting.
Night owl, definitely some of the best auto flowers in the game.
Yes.
All right. Let's not hold the good people up too much longer. Go ahead and bring in our boy. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, I just want to say you guys are too kind. I think all the pictures in the intro were my best side. You guys are great, man. Good hanging out today.
Yeah, I'm glad to
all
have
that all the promotional stuff. Alicia did a lot of that.
Yeah,
Well,
we're gonna have to talk after the show, Alicia. Yeah, for sure.
I prowled yours and Mo's Instagrams.
Yeah, she takes the best pictures, so always catches me when I'm not looking for it, you know. And those are the ones she posts, but you guys like them, so that works.
Yeah, it works.
Hey, Al, what's going on, guys? Everyone in the chat, what's going on?
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you, Chris, too.
Sure. Yeah, man,
thanks for your time, bud.
You guys look busy and talking to a bunch of big names. That's really awesome.
I mean, you know, it's kind of like one of those things to where I don't know, like all this is just kind of falling together. And then I don't know, like me just being me, I guess. Like I don't mind to ask, so like I'll kind of throw it out there, like, hey, what do you think?
You're right.
Yeah.
I really like what you're doing, Cortez, with the medication side and things like that. So when I hit you up, I thought we might do one of those, but this is cool too.
Well, I mean, like that's kind of the cool thing about like conversations with Cortez. Like this isn't even necessarily a grow show,
right?
But it is a show where growers, like-minded individuals, come on Sunday and we just kind of like bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's perfect, man. No form.
So there's like grow talk, there's life talk, everything in between. It's like we don't really gotta like just paint ourselves into a box,
right? Good show with JR and everybody like that, but you guys are doing good things.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of like I don't know, as far as that goes, that's kind of like, I guess I wouldn't go as far as saying like a personal mission, but there are a lot of things that make that subject matter a little bit more personal to me.
Right.
So it's just like I'm actually leading up to, I'm going to take what I filmed so far, and then I got some more stuff lined up too in that series. I'm actually making like a legit like documentary of like pain management and cannabis as alternative medicine. Big pharma is not always the option, you know what I mean?
Whenever you want to talk, dude, 30-year recovering from meth, so this changed my life. So yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, I've
hell yeah,
on and off for 30 years, but I've been sober for more than 7, so we're doing good on this end. And cannabis keeps me away from a bunch of that stuff. So
yeah, man, a lot of that comes down to replacing your habits, because that's one of the things about, you know what I mean, like the more hardcore drug use, there's a lot of rituals. There's a lot of just these like weird little like idiosyncrasies that we pick up like while we're getting high, you know what I mean? And then it's like, if you can replace that, because now you're filling your time with something else.
I was given a choice: 18 years in prison or go do this drug court, and I chose the drug court. And 2 years later, I had learned the tools to stay clean from that stuff. And once I was able to, I picked up cannabis, and I haven't turned back. And growing your own and everything's a lot more therapeutic than me going and sitting on someone's couch.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah. Something you can take pride in.
Yeah.
What did they think about your cannabis use while you were, or did you not use it until well after you had like graduated?
No, I was on probation and all that good stuff. But I'll be honest, we were told that 30 days in, we were 30 days from graduation. We were done with drug testing, everything. Going to that last court day was a formality. My buddy and I were already putting plants in place and starting to grow. So
Look at that.
You know, that's
You're
actually
wasting
kind of
time.
funny. When I started growing in like the adult portion of my life here, it was actually like 2 weeks after I got off of parole here in Illinois.
right, just get it done,
Well, I was locked up when weed became legal. So like I came home after 3 years to this. Like, wait, what?
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the time I got out and returned to civilization, I think weed had already been legal for like a year. So I just totally missed out.
Yeah.
The market
Better
was
late
just,
than never.
the market was just getting started here, and we had started a business going in and setting up grow rooms and things like that. And I got turned in by a buddy, and that squashed that career. And then ended up getting clean and not wanting anything to do with those people.
Yeah.
So
Good.
now here we are.
It's
Yeah.
funny how that works, right?
Yeah, might have saved my life. It did save my life.
Yeah.
You're running with a pretty cool crew right now, so definitely worth it. You got some cool cats in your.
The boys, and I stopped drinking 4 months ago, and it's easier every day, and life's changed for the better. And I had two people to help co-pilot that. Rue's got quite a few years under his belt. Elle just celebrated a year, so a lot of good people to look up to and help me through things.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's awesome. Look at you, fucking squashing all that shit. Yeah.
All right. Kicking ass over there.
Mm-hmm.
So you just came back from the what was it? The Build a Soil days?
Build a Soil days and the Living Soil Cup. And let me tell you what, I'm a DGC fan and I've been going to it for years, but this thing was just like boom, huge. 108 flower entries, 4 judges, and there was like 90 something concentrates entered. It was pretty big. And
did you compete?
No, not myself. I had friends competing and people that I know around the community. I just didn't have anything that I could present that was going to blow their socks.
Honestly, when I go to shit like that personally, like if I'm competing, I'm not gonna have a good time because I'm like so competitive, you know what I mean? So it's like if I go out there and compete, I'm just gonna be like this miserable person in the corner. But if I go out there, just kind of like, film some content, actually have a good time, take everything in, then it's pretty cool. Like that's what I did at the last DGC Cup, and it was so much of a better time for me.
Yeah, I went there. We had all kinds of cameras set up, mics set up. We were recording, doing content creation, and I got to hang out with Elle. Elle made the trip in. We were like the cool table, hanging out in the corner and just doing content and smoking and hanging out, and that's what we wanted to do. And then our buddy, our good friend, Crop Culture, when they announced his name, it was just like, oh wow, part of that whole thing. That was awesome.
Yeah. Congratulations to Chris Crop Culture for, you said, second place win.
Big shout out, Crop Culture.
Yeah. So, he might be taking the community by storm with this second place and using the Herbs Now dryer. I don't know if you guys heard about that yesterday.
I'm so excited about that. Yeah.
I mean, that's just going to change everything that we know if it does the exact same thing, or if not better. So I'm super excited for it. He took second place using it. I think that he said that it was in a jar from the dryer for 7 days before he brought it to the contest and ready to go. So that says big things for that dryer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things I'm like skeptical of, though. You know what I mean?
No
but
shit.
At the same time, like Hey, check this out. So I bought the AC Infinity, the 19-inch bolt trimmer. What
Yep.
was this? Like 3 years, whenever they first came out. Okay. Would you know I had that motherfucker for about 8 or 9 months before I even took it out of the box or used it?
I've used mine twice. I've got the
I'm
big
old school, brother. I'm old school.
one.
But
I've got
no,
the
like
big one.
now I pretty much use it every time. I rarely hand trim. I rarely hand trim.
So, I mean, the whole thing is if you can have it dried and put in a jar after 4 days, you eliminate all that hanging. A lot of people have to use their grow tent to dry in.
Mhm.
You get the
Yeah.
2-week advantage of moving everything, flipping everything around if you could use this little
Oh no,
dryer.
I get it. I get you.
Right.
You got to realize I'm just like caveman brain. So I'm like, no, bad, no.
No, that's where I'm at. That's what I told Chris. I said, "You're out of your mind. There's no way."
Yeah, no
And he
fucking
goes,
way.
And he goes, "You picked the one that was dried that way." And then his Chicago cake was also dried that way. And it also placed in the top 10. So it
Oh,
says
wow.
Oh
big
shit.
things for
There
that.
might
So,
be something behind it.
well, we were
One,
talking about Jeremy and Build a Soil Crew were the judges. So those guys are really picky about what they like and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
him to get this win, it's really big.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
excited.
huge. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him. Just, I
Yep.
don't know. I'm just such a stickler.
That's what I'm saying. So if you want to try it, buy his Christmas box, and that's in it. So you get a
That'll be nice.
discounted price on it and get to check it out if you're interested.
I got one for my birthday, and one thing I my birthday just passed, so I haven't harvested anything since then. I'm excited to use it, but one big reason why, like you said, you have to use your tent, but also like the room itself has to get turned down for the drying, and had some issues with plants that were trying to have live still while putting on the AC, and it was so I'm so excited to not have to like control all these different areas at once.
Yeah, his electric bill, trying to dry with his AC, he was saying that it was about $500 and something a month. He kicked the AC out and replaced it with that dryer, and
Yeah.
it was down to 200 and something a month. So that's a big
I
deal.
believe it. I believe it. Yeah, that when this AC turns on, because it's like a window unit, but it's a separate window unit. It's not like one of
Right.
those square ones. It has the hose that goes up, and oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how much more electricity it uses to run. I'm like, I only run it when it's 95.
My
the plan.
electricity bill just went down by like 150, 200 a month.
That's nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I run the AC in the grow is when I'm drying. So if I can eliminate that completely worth it. And then
Exactly.
also run your lights on off-peak hours. Don't run them during peak hours. That's how I saved $150 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what my lights will be on overnight. Turn on at 4 p.m. and then go there, whatever stage they're in, amount of light time. But
Well,
also
I
with
got
sorry. I'll say real quick with the Herbs Now dryer, I was excited because a lot of people that like in the community that we know and that we trust use it. So like I know L uses it, I know CC uses it. I mean, they're good. I think it has one. It just a lot of people have said a lot of good things about it.
I got
We'll
a
try.
dedicated air conditioner just for my grow room, but like everything's sealed, like even that room sealed, the tent sealed. And then I can control everything from my phone because like I got the control for the air conditioner itself, and then I got the control for the controller 69. So between the two, I can like dial, I can literally play God in that room.
So is it just a window unit or is it a mini split or what do you got?
I got a window unit, but it's I'm not sure the square footage in there, but like it's 8,000 BTUs. So it's oversized for the square footage that it's in, but it's smart. So I can control like everything from the phone, all that good stuff.
That's perfect. Yeah, I just
cool.
here in Colorado, it just in my basement, it doesn't get hot enough that I need to worry about it during the during the grow, because if it's hot during
during
day,
the summer months with the lights, like if I didn't have air conditioning in that room, it'd probably be easily in the 90s, hundreds, the hottest days.
oh,
But the
okay.
other thing too, here in Chicago, it gets really humid. So I don't have a dehumidifier at the moment, but I can kind of get away with it with the air conditioner unit, because like if my humidity like peaks really high, I can just force cold, I can force like 60-degree air in the room from the air conditioner, and it just eliminates the humidity. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a workaround for not having a dehu at the moment.
It works, man. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, especially that's kind of like one of those things to where it's like I have humidity alarms going off, but I'm at work and obviously like I can't leave here for like another 6 hours. So like, how do I fix this on the fly?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have a 10 by 10 room, and in the corner of it, I'm running that the scrog in the open room space. But then I do have a 4x4 tent in the room also. So during the summer, sometimes the tent gets 85-ish or something with the lights on or something like that. But my lights are off during a good portion of the day. So run them at night, it equals out. So I'll get rid of my AC unit, I think, for now.
That probably would be the better way to go, but like right now I have my light set from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Well, you might want to look in to see what the peak hours are, because our peak hours are from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So my lights are on. So
But
my lights are off from 6 to 6.
I guess that just works best for me with like my work schedule and stuff. So it's like, well, this is when I'm going to run my lights. So I'll just pay.
We were running them at 7 p.m. and Mo was like, no, that shit's too late. Back it off an hour. So I'll wait till 6. That's fine. But 7, no, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I don't know with me.
Totally right.
With me, by the time I get off of work, if I sit down for too long, nothing's getting done. So like while I still got like that momentum from work, like I pretty much just got to come in the door, do whatever I'm going to do. Cause once I sit down for about like 10 minutes, that shit's over with.
We have dinner and then it's 6 p.m. and then I'm like, fuck, I have to go downstairs.
I know. Now you
Yeah. Like I just kind of walk in the house. It's like, don't bother me. Don't look at me. Pretend like I'm not here. No, I don't call that.
But
I'm a figment of your imagination right now. Give me about 30 to 45 minutes just to hit everything with water really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to shy away from that. I do have a tent still operating on hand watering, but with the real bucket, shameless plug, I don't have to worry about that stuff. I walk in, the reservoir needs some water, pour it in, and then I walk away.
Yeah.
If you can be the laziest grower there is, and you can come out with good quality product if you start with.
I've used the real buckets before. They do work really good, but cocoa is just outside of my wheelhouse. Like I'm definitely living soil guy. So
that's what these guys argued this weekend, and Chris took me on.
If I got a pH, it's not worth my time. If I have to pH, it's not worth my time.
I don't pH anything, man. I recharge from cocoa. I put the recharge on the top of the cocoa once a week, and it's just regular water in the reservoir, and that's all I do.
Nice.
That's what's up.
I've
grown in cocoa before, but like I just didn't have success with it. So it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like an acquired taste. Like if you're used to one kind of beer and then you switch over to something else, and it's kind of like, I don't like that one.
I dabble in different things. I wanted to make sure that I could figure out a way along with Scotty and pass it along to people that they could have success on their very first grow. So I've noticed these different styles of self-watering buckets and things like that. And these ones prove a lot better than the ones like I love AC Infinity, but their wicking system for their self-watering pot, it's not the same as one of these sit buckets.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And
definitely
the worst
better route.
New growers, their biggest mistake is knowing how to water. They can't recognize the signs of, hey, this is drooping because I didn't water it versus it's drooping because it's overwatered. things like that. But when the plant can call for how much water it wants, it's going to grow great.
Yeah.
And overwatering definitely is a very big overall yield factor as well, if you're drowning out your root zone.
Yeah, and this constant up and down of your plants completely showing one way or the other. You know,
Yeah.
I'd like them full throttle pointing up like this at all times. I've gotten lucky and gotten into a water schedule where I can water every other day, you know, almost a half gallon per 5 gallon pot, and we're good to rock and roll. But you do let it go on too long, and that cocoa does shrivel up, gets hydrophobic, and gets pissed off.
See, I definitely like, that's another thing I like about growing in soil. I'm able to do more dramatic drybacks.
Right.
For
So
the
how
crop steering.
how far of a dryback do you normally go?
It depends. I mean, probably about 2 weeks into flower, I'll do a dryback to where like I'll actually let the bottom leaves of the plant start to wilt a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did get a 30-gallon pot that we're going to do a living soil experiment with all the goodies and running all the goodies from the crop culture living soil box. And we're going to fire it up and see how well it does. The theory is the bigger the battery, the bigger the fruit. So we're going to find out.
Yeah. That's
Very
awesome.
nice.
That's been huge.
And then Cortez
everything
says,
right.
hit them with synthetics too.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I find really interesting, Cortez, is about how you freak all these people out and you have these great results. What do you mean?
And it's like literally what I do.
They're like, hey,
you better throw some of that flagrant green sensation in there.
Man, no.
You know, maybe something like light is like a bloom. Like, what's the one I use? I think it's like 477. I don't know. It's something really low, but I use that just as basically like a PK booster, but that's definitely a salt. Definitely using winter frost going into those final couple weeks, the week before you start to flush. Well, just go water only, but
I can see that. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it works with anything. The
putting some plantation blackstrap molasses in there too. Got the recharge going.
Yeah,
I really like that
sugar.
silicium, so I'm using that as my silica throughout veg. Makes training a lot easier. Helps too with the drybacks I like to do because it builds up drought resistance through the silica.
And you put that into water it into the soil, or you use it as a foliar? You water it in?
I don't do foliars, dude.
Nothing.
The only thing I really do as a foliar is like what do you call it? The Lost Coast.
Right.
So I'll do that as my IPM, but like other than that, I'm not spraying nothing on my plants.
Right, I hear you. We were trying to get rid of little fungus gnats, and I used that Lost Coast, and I did it every couple of days like I was supposed to, and did it the way, and they were gone for a minute and then came right back, and I was like, no, we got to go stronger. So we used the mosquito bits, dude, and killed all of them.
I did. Yeah, that's what I did.
You know, the other thing too with the Lost Coast, if you got what I'll do sometimes, if I ever get, you know, maybe from some like fresh compost or something, I'll kind of get like a little pocket of fungus gnats that's giving me some pest pressure. I'll do the Lost Coast, but like half strength, and I'll do it as a soil drench. That works pretty
well. Yeah, because I was using it as a spray, but along with the mosquito bits, they work really well. But you have to reapply, otherwise they come back, and that's just
right.
And that's just part of.
Well, the other thing you can do too, and this is probably one of the most effective thing to kill off fungus gnats, especially if they start getting really out of hand. Just let everything go dry. Let it get dry as possible. Like let your plants actually start to wilt a little bit. It's okay.
You want to kill those eggs. You want to kill everything in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use them.
And then sometimes too, I will get 70% isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle. I won't spray the plant, but I'll spray the stem. But you know, the bottom of my plants are lollipopped. I'll spray the stem and then I'll spray. And this is before I water or anything. The first thing I do, I'll go in there with the 70% ISO and like spray the top layer. That's pretty brutal on those things.
Yeah.
Really? And then spray around the pot if need be, if they're crawling around and all that. I never thought about that. That's not going to get
I'll go in, I'll do that. And then that's just to kind of like kill whatever like low hanging fruit, whichever ones are like the easiest, you know what I mean? And then I'll wait maybe like 10 minutes and then I'll go with like a soil drench or something. Kind of like I was saying with the half strength Lost Coast, and then just kind of do it so that I fully saturate the top layer of soil.
Yeah, I mean, I know where mine came from. I'm running organics, and that's bound to happen. Organics with cocoa. So that's
especially your first couple times running it. If you recycle stuff, that's actually where you can weed out a lot of it. Nematodes and rove beetles. Ladybugs are just kind of ladybugs. They're not that effective. Like they are pretty good, but if you want like surefire crop insurance, rove beetles and nematodes are definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I'm not real full living soil organic. I run cocoa with worm castings and then the microbes and stuff like that. So that's organic enough, and sometimes it pops up. And when you have wet stuff, no matter what, they're sooner or later going to pop up one way or another. But when I run just cocoa, that's it. And the room's clean. I never have a bug problem.
So, I believe it.
It's with organics, but a couple little flies that you have to deal with for these amazing results, we can deal with it. There's certain ways to deal with things.
Yeah.
I feel like stuff that's grown in soil just has so much more like soul. You know what I mean? It's kind of like more legs on it.
Right.
Europeans seem a little bit deeper.
But you can put two buds together, and if someone doesn't tell you, sometimes you have a hard time telling whether it was grown hydro or organic. A lot of people say that you can taste the difference.
It's true.
But I think that a lot of it
I'm saying in terms of the effect, like I get higher from weed that was grown in soil.
Really?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I didn't smell a single cardboard terp over the weekend, though. I'll be honest with you. Which it's bound to happen at the cup. You know, it's people's choice. Everybody gets to smell everything, and sometimes you find people rush to get it dried to either compete or they just don't know what they're doing. And that's one of the best ways to learn is to compete. If you don't place very high, you talk to people and say, hey, did you try mine? What's going on? How did this happen? Blah, blah, blah. You know, Cortez and I competed against each other, and I'm sure he believed he had a really good entry, and I did too. And it turned out that people's choice liked mine a little better. I just got lucky that year.
Yeah, that year, I don't know. I knew like when I competed, I knew what my jar number was like as they checked it in. I'll say this though. The year that I competed, at the end of the 5-hour judging, my jar and maybe only 3 or 4 other people's were completely empty.
Right.
So I kind of looked at that a little bit more than where I placed in the rankings, because when they pulled the jars at the end of the smoke session, like there was not even like a hitter pack left. It was literally just like glass empty jar.
I knew what my number was too. I didn't tell anybody. You know, I look up to Matt from ICANN THC, and he was there with his wife, and I saw him go back and hit my jar twice, and he told me which one he had voted for, and I just kept my mouth shut because I wanted to be fair and square. People's choice, you know, there were people propping up their weed and talking about they were bud tending their own jars, for heaven's
Yeah,
sake. I mean,
they
come
were.
on. So when they called my name, my leg almost dropped out from under me. That was only my second year growing this time around, and I'd never been with these big boys or anything else. So
Yeah.
when they said I took third place, yeah, it was a pretty awesome experience.
That's awesome. What did you submit for that third place winner?
JR Tokens Cherry Paloma.
Oh yeah,
I had
That
heard them
was the year of the Cherry Paloma.
He had taken
There was
second
about
place the year
30
before.
different variations there that year.
Right. He had taken it the year before, and it was a big thing on the DGC, and I wanted to know how I could get it. And they were like, yeah, just message him. And one day there was a knock at my door, and this dude handed Monica a plant and goes, Chris will know what to do with this, and left.
really?
And yeah, and that was the Paloma, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to enter. I was growing Rasta Jeff's stuff, Moon Tower at the time too. I was transplanting it from a 3-gallon because I knew it needed to be in a 5-gallon, but it was in a fabric pot. I broke a monster branch off of it trying to transplant it. Wasn't sure it was going to happen, but these were the biggest, frostiest nugs I'd ever grown. And I was like, hell, let's just enter it and see what happens. And that was one of my favorite cuts. I normally grow from seed. That's the very first clone that I grew out of the community, and I was really happy with it, but I let it go. But there's plenty of people in the community that still have it. You know, Matt's running it all the time right now.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
There's never a shortage of Cherry Paloma.
Which I'm growing the Rasta Jeff cross with the skunk #1. So it's the cherry skunk.
I have that in
super excited.
seed. Rasta Jeff gave it to me, but it's like one of the seeds in the package, because it's just in like a little baggie, is actually broken.
Oh no.
So I have one chance to pop a Rasta Jeff seed.
So I got the same seed pack at the show, and that's what I decided to throw in with them, and they both cracked. And they were both ready to go. So I've got that in the back corner, and they're starting to get thick. So if they have anything like the density of the Paloma, I'll be real happy. But I think
I got it in Scotty's garage. So I guess at that point of the night, it was a little beat up.
Right. You guys partied hard.
Hey, dude, here.
That's always a good time. That's where we actually met in person for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The 2023, I think, DGC, or maybe the year before I had entered.
No, it was 23.
Yep,
it was 23.
But it's a weekend event. We base a vacation once a year around it too. You know, we'll rent a room. Yeah, because it's too far a drive. You know, an hour. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from my house, so we don't want to be driving back and forth. Especially after VIP party that runs late and everything else. So we just stay in town.
I like the VIP party better than the actual cup.
Do you? With being with the close friends, the homies?
Yeah, because it's kind of more like, I don't know, low key.
Yeah, it was the regular VIP party that all ticket holders got that paid for it. But then they all went to the bakery afterwards. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that part. Mo's like, nope, we're out. You know, DGC all weekend long. No, you can take a break. So we went back to the room. But those guys partied pretty hard.
Yeah, I think after that we went and tore up a Waffle House.
Oh, they have Waffle Houses out there?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there's Waffle House out west.
Yeah, I have to drive by one
Waffle
every
House
day
is
when I go to work. Yeah, it is.
I liked it when I lived down south. I like the Waffle House.
Smothered and covered, baby. Smothered and covered.
Have you ever seen that Waffle House video where the girl took a chair and threw it at the girl that worked there, and she like matrixed it and grabbed it and like reversed it back at the girl that threw it at her?
What?
Yeah.
Crazy people at the Waffle House.
I know.
Oh, there's some great Waffle House fights on YouTube if you look them up.
Google it later.
Yeah,
But I'll be
This
doing.
little rabbit hole you can go down on your own.
Mhm.
or you can take people down with you, huh, Cortez? Through Instagram, boy.
How else you expect him to conquer the world?
Right? It's great. You know, Mo will be like, "What are you laughing about?" And then she'll see it too, and it's just great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Conquering the world one continent at a time.
Right?
Mhm.
Hey, so I wanted to ask you about your transplanting of auto flowers because I think I'm going to have to teach Mo how to do it. She wants to run autos for the DGC Cup for her entry. So
Okay.
bigger and better. So what's the haps, man?
Yeah.
So I would start off with the triple cup.
Right.
Triple solo cup, one cut down the seam, bottom cut out, handle bit on the second cup, third cup just kind of acts as like a saucer. And then you got like that nice sleeve, get it out of there. Then I would go into a 1 gallon. And I really like, they're not a sponsor or anything, but Vivo Sun, surprisingly enough, has these really nice 1 gallon fabric pots where it's got a
Oh.
Velcro strip. So you can like literally undo the Velcro and then
Really?
kind of like roll the fabric on the pot. I always like to transplant a bit dry. You know, otherwise the roots can kind of like fall with like wet dirt. So this way, I'm pulling the little fabric around. I'll lift it out. So it's the whole soil plug. And then I'm going into, I really like the tall 5 gallon pots.
Man. So you transplant like 2 times?
Twice.
Is that how,
Yeah.
twice?
But the thing is, you have to be very deliberate. Like you can't even let a speck of the taproot touch the outside of the container. Every time I'm doing a transplant, it's still like soil. There's no roots touching, no roots exposed. And I'm going soil to soil, and I'm going to sprinkle in recharge in between the two to where like the new root zone is going to be. Filled in with dirt, and then I plain water, but I got the recharge sprinkled into the hole around the root zone.
So some of that dirt will fall off of your roots and stuff when you're going to transplant, since it's not all the way through out of when you're transplanting out of that.
Not if it's dry. The drier, the better. I don't know. That's probably another thing where it might be a little bit better to be in soil.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess all of my advice comes from the standpoint of growing in soil. So
Right. Very interesting. We'll have to talk about that and see what happens. But she's really interested in the whole just put it in there. We don't have to change lights, nothing like that, because
Yeah.
some of those autos will get big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Looking for a couple
Especially depending on container size. Like I have
Right.
Gorilla cookies from Fast Buds that I've gotten like over a half pound off of from one plant.
Wow.
Oh
Wow. We did pretty well, going right into the tall 5 gallon once before, but she's just looking at wanting different standout genetics. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to have to put in there.
Well, here's the thing, right? So with autos, it really is a numbers game because there's going to be some that don't germinate. There's going to be some that do some type of like wonky ruderalis thing. There's going to be some that are just like weak cultivar. So basically, I'm starting in the smallest container, but then once it gets to final container, I'm putting like my cocktail of like compost, worm castings, possibly nature's living soil, whatever I got. But I almost do like the subcool thing. So the bottom third of my final container is packed with a lot of organics. That shit's expensive. So before it gets to final container, if it's not going to work, I'm going to get rid of it or make other options. You know what I mean? because at
Right.
that point it's like, do I really want to waste this like $25-$30 I have in the bottom of each one of these pots?
Yeah.
I've actually figured it out. It's like $25-$30. And I guess I don't want to gamble on that for something that's not going to produce.
And you'll do all of that before it starts to show signs of flowering?
Yeah. So with the 2 transplants, I definitely want to get that done within maybe like 21 days. It's already in final container.
Oh, so it goes out of that solo cup really fast into that 1 gallon.
Yeah, like the solo cup, I'm literally just germinating in there. So I'm waiting for it to pop out of the soil. Then I'm going to give it, I don't know, 3 to 6 days, we'll say. Like the goal is pretty much to where I can go into the 1 gallon and I can water in aggressively without the plant just kind of like going limp.
Wow.
Then maybe like 2 weeks in the 1 gallon, but I'm really looking for what I'm going to get rid of. That's why I'm popping extra. So if something isn't working out, not keeping up, I'm not going to second guess it. I'm just going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because I've done the pheno hunt with the autoflowers before, where they were all in the solo cups, but a lot of them usually would end up flowering because it hits the bottom of that cup.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that that's why when I say transplant, it's probably not the transplant that most people think, to where
Right.
like you got this big root ball and everything. Like when I'm transplanting, I don't want to see like not a string of root. Like I don't want to see anything. I want it to see just perfect dry dirt that I can carefully take and put into the next container.
That makes a lot more sense now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically like a soil plug going dirt to dirt with the recharge sprinkled.
Nice. All right, we'll have to try it. But I can only promise you half the garden will be done that way. The other half is going to be done the regular way, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, it makes a difference. Are you guys going to run the same when you decide like the same genetics to have the control?
Yeah, we normally run a couple of the same seeds. So yeah, that's how we always control an A or a B. That's most of the stuff in my tent has an A and a B, because we like to see the differences in the phenos. Possibly,
Exactly.
sometimes they lean the same direction. Sometimes they're definitely spread apart. I've got a pop my cherry right now that one's really, really stretchy, got nice structure, and then the other one's really short and stout.
Yeah.
But they don't always when you plant doubles, they don't always make it, so sometimes you end up
Got
with
Mr. Gannix in the building.
What's up, guys? But we pop a lot of beans around here. There's too many people's genetics, so we don't keep clones. I've grown from clone a few different times, and it works really well, especially if you want to grow the same stuff. But there's just too many breeders out there, and there's just too much.
Yeah.
I can't justify my bean collection if I'm not breaking into it and growing beans.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been broken by seeds. I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah, so you grow from a clone, huh?
Clone, well, it depends. Like I have photo periods going right now that are from seed, but it's because Heather asked me really nice. So I had to oblige her. I do have some clones going right now, though. So
And how do you grow, Alicia? How do you grow?
Seed, or I've done both, but usually if I'm starting something, it's seed, and then take a clone off of it in soil.
Yeah, I don't have room to keep it around, but I hear that re-vegging does work. Elle's just done it twice, so
yeah,
it's
I'm
possible.
obsessed with re-veg.
If you ever
so
want
much.
to get your biggest harvest like possible for your space, though, if you got whatever it is, 4x4, 5x5, if you do a room of the same clones that show the same vigor, and you have it double scrogged, wall-to-wall canopy, you'll never get the same yield for the same space. Like hands down, bar none.
A bunch of the smaller pots and run a bunch of them.
See, like me personally, I'd rather do a little bigger pots and less.
Right. Yeah.
I've done the sea of green once, and I mean it's a lot of pots.
Yeah, it's like too many moving parts. Then there's like some that are harder to water.
Right.
Plus, I feel like with the sea of green, you'll never get like the same size buds that you can at least out of like 5 or 7 gallons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you
That
open
is-
the tent, instead of just seeing these like little popcorny looking things, you want to see the big old donkey dicks. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at in our tent. You know, it's starting to get there. You know, week 3 of flower. You know, you get all excited and stuff because you're like,
Right.
oh, let's see what this is going to turn into.
But then
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes they kind of get away from you. It's kind of like Moby Dick, you know what I mean? Like you're out there chasing that whale. You're putting this bloom in there. It's responding nicely, but then you get the main cola so fucking big that when you harvest, you get like a little bud rot in there because you got that bastard too big.
Right. I try not to go that far. I mean, some of the largest ones that I've grown,
I just can't help myself sometimes.
the autos grew into the light, so they got a lot of that clawing, and then when they dried,
The
they
foxtailing?
from being close to the light, it ended up drying all airy.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah.
It turned out to be a good to kind of wash it, but I just have it sitting in the freezer. You know, I mean, most likely it's going to end up in the trash can because it wasn't a great grow. And
Yeah.
move on. We learn.
right.
Exactly.
Like the story of Icarus. Got a little too close to the sun with your wings there, Chris.
Right. And that's one of the other reasons why I moved into the open room with the grow buckets, because the humidity was just out of control in the tent. You know, these release so much water that we had to pull them out of the tent.
Yeah.
My fan was running at full speed all the time, and AC Infinity's quiet, but it still sounds like a jet engine when it's running at full speed.
Yeah, you still
That's oh my god, you just made me remember running like blurples back in the day, and the fucking fan on the light was the loudest thing in my entire grow space.
Yeah.
Terrible. People were like, yeah, I get great results. And the minute that you use something else, you were like, no, I didn't get great results. That's
Yeah.
But at the time though, that was the thing though, is that because otherwise that's when like people are using like light bulbs they buy at Walmart that are supposed to bring UV light and stuff. So it was like the pioneer.
I had one of the early blurple lights, and it sounded like a fucking Apache helicopter taking off.
we were stealing the light bulbs out of light poles and stuff, and that was a very recognizable hum.
Yeah.
Those metal halides.
Oh,
Yeah, what was
it's a
your
little
electric
hum
bill
too.
like?
Yeah, we didn't pay electricity back then. No, very interesting. Man, it's always great catching up with you guys. So you're vending this year at the DGC?
Yes, sir. Worked it out with dude through email just recently.
Well, we're local, so let us know if you need some help, or we can make arrangements off camera. Keep in touch for sure.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it should be pretty fun though. Doing the wings, gonna do sandwiches, some appetizers. I just made some medicated marinara sauce yesterday. I pulled a GG too. I licked the spoon.
Ah,
Yeah, I was pretty
And
fucked
then,
up
then your
yesterday.
finger probably and
Oh, and I did the math today. The marinara, per fluid ounce, it's 59.9 milligrams of THC.
nice. Just right under that 60 mark, huh? Perfect.
Per fluid ounce.
And how much did you say the crafts were holding last night?
So that was a mistake. I portioned the marinara into 4-ounce ramekins, but the math just came back this morning. So it's like, okay, yeah. So for the marinara, the 2-ounce ramekins would have been fine for that one. Because that's what, like almost 120 milligrams for a 2-ounce cup then?
Yeah, that's about.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
a bad dosage.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And
Long as you
I
have
think
more to
I
go.
think I got dude a little shook from last year. He's like, "All right, you can vendor, but everything has to be labeled with THC like percentages." So it's like, oh, now I got to do math. Like I know how to do the math, but I usually just don't. I don't know. It's almost like un-American. Like I just make my stuff like as strong as possible to where you can't taste the can of taste. And then usually if people are, and you know, some people are like pricks. So, you know, and they got to know like, oh, how many milligrams is this?
do you make
Going up on their ass.
Usually for people like that, though, it's like, hey, you know what? If you got to ask those kind of questions, this isn't for
You can't handle it.
right? So do you do it in large batches or do you do it in a bunch of smaller batches when you make that, like for the show or something?
Well, it all depends. So, like what I made yesterday, I just basically made it to the max that my magical butter machine would make. No sponsorship there. It's honestly what I've spent my money on years ago. I actually think the heating element might be going out. Knock on wood. But magical
what I
butter
use
machine,
too.
if you guys want to send me another one.
Yeah.
But so I filled it to capacity. So I think that's like 8 cups total.
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere between this. If it's not 6, it's 8.
Because we do have I do have a company local that tests that stuff for us. So if you're doing large batches or whatever, we can figure it out. But they test it and give you the numbers that people are looking for, man.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that off camera because somebody else just put me up on a place out in Oregon that I can get the same thing.
All right, yeah, we'll talk off camera, man, for sure. Oh.
All right, we're coming up on an hour here. Is there any shout outs you want to give, Chris?
To both my co-hosts, Rue's Goofy Growing, and to El Connoisseur. El does the all of our video stuff, and Rue definitely keeps us all laughing. So without those guys, we wouldn't have that Seed to Harvest podcast dynamic. And shout out to everybody that shows up in the chat and wants to listen to me talk, man. And Mo. Mo grows stuff on Instagram. She likes to joke around, and she has a bunch of her own stuff growing. It's not only cannabis, so check her out too. And Canarado_Chris on Instagram.
Yeah,
Canarado with one N.
With one N, different than everybody else.
Right. Actually, if anybody wants to check you out on Instagram, I have a clickable link for you down in the description there, sir.
We appreciate that. And, you know, we just sell on air every week for over 6 months. So getting up to that 1,000 mark, which is a big deal in this community. So right on. And everybody needs to tune in to Cortez and check out House Cortez and Canna Alicia for sure.
Thank you. And this Wednesday, you're going to be you guys are all going to be on the Garden Cultivation Network.
Yes, we are. So that'll be exciting.
Get another chance at you.
Oh, that's a good look there.
Yeah. We just want to get the word out there, and we do the grow along with everybody. We pick a breeder for the season, and everybody grows along, and we show our weekly progress and bring more and more people together in our community. So thanks for your guys' time.
Yeah, thank you. Then I love
Most
that too,
definitely.
the grow along aspect of the podcast.
It's fun.
That is pretty cool.
Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
We'll talk
Boy,
soon,
Chris. Most definitely. Let's keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Yes, sir.
All right. He's such a great guest to have on, isn't he?
Yeah. I always have fun. And he's like brought up a
Oh,
lot of
most
things that you
definitely.
didn't know. It's like, oh wow. Now I know. Yeah, you're gonna have to help
Right,
Mo with
right.
the transplanting autos. Remember that.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Yeah.
But this is pretty exciting. Can next week.
Yeah, can. Sneak can with the Donna germination.
Stick it
So,
in the can.
Yep, and you're gonna be trying
Well,
one
guys.
soon. So
Oh, yeah. I might
later.
pop some stuff during the week just to kind of check it out before we have them on. Just to kind of play with
Yeah.
it a little bit. I got enough seeds. All right, guys. Until next week. Peace.
Thank you.